So we're finally coming into spring, and spring can be a really lovely time to do some GTD spring cleaning. I really love this topic. A few years ago, I was speaking with one of my fellow GTD coaches about this theme it was a recurring theme that we were seeing, showing up consistently with our clients. We noticed that their lists were up to date and current, and like the super important, like I called them A+ tasks, were getting done. And yet other important tasks were not getting done. And these things were far from someday maybe. Actually, we called them someday absolutes because they absolutely had to get done. And yet on a day-to-day basis, they just kind of never rose to the priority list. And, they were causing stress, and they were kind of, consistently carrying over week to week during weekly reviews. We ended up calling them dusty actions because they were essentially collecting dust. And I created just a short list of a few examples in case any of this may resonate with you. Scheduling doctor's appointments, legal stuff, advanced care directive, updating wills, power of attorney, estate planning, creating emergency preparedness plans, tailoring new clothes, and fixing stuff. The beautiful bag that the clasp is broken that you can't use. New eyeglass prescriptions and lenses. Baby gift and anniversary gift where we're approaching the, 1-year birthday anniversary. Canceling subscriptions. We all have that experience. We signed up for the thing because we wanted to watch that one thing. And now a year later, we're frustrated because we're still getting billed for it. Updating insurance policies, researching disability and long-term care insurance. I see that show up quite a bit on clients' lists. So, these are just a few examples of things that kind of sit there, right? And, these things are important, right? They're not someday maybe. And yet, on a day-to-day basis, it's almost like there's a little bit of guilt for even thinking about doing it over what I call the A++ priority tasks. So, we got curious about this, about how to help our clients and ourselves, move the needle on some of these dusty actions. And the strategy that we came up with that has been pretty road tested successfully is to schedule time for dusty actions. You can call it whatever you want to call it. You can make it whatever time increment is palatable, maybe it's just 30 minutes a week or, 1 hour every other week where, we schedule it, make it as non-negotiable as possible. And, during that time, it's just do the dusty actions and kind of bypass the A++ actions. So, if this resonates with you, my invitation is to look at your list and see if anything's been kind of collecting dust, and just pick one or a couple of them, and imagine how good you're going to feel once that's done. And then just schedule time for it, and do your best to kind of keep that commitment to yourself. And if it works, right, and you get this kind of positive result, then schedule another session for the next week and run the experiment. Just see if you're, able to once again kind of move the needle on some of these things that have been kind of hanging out and lingering. As always, we would love to hear from you. Feel free to leave a comment, and happy GTD spring cleaning.